Welcome, I'm your theloladass. So today gonna play Tales of the Black Death. This game is developed and published by Doubleton Game Studio. So this game already came out to mobile, but now they bring to PC. It's a visual novel about the Black Plague, and it's like you have three stories from Italy, France, and England. It's all about you that you choose, and you need to manage your health and morale because you can get sick, so you need to be careful. And the game at the same time it has death loop. It's like when you are always dying, and like that they have a way to reset that death loop, like that you not always die, and that is a good thing. I think it's a good thing that they did, because like that people don't get stuck on the death loop. So let's go for tutorial first to learn how the game works. The game is like this, it's like only shows a scene because it was a mobile game. Okay, tutorial. During the 4th century, it was not uncommon to die from famine, violent acts, bad weather, or heresy. But it was many died from various illnesses such as dysentery, malaria, typhoid fever, or smallpox. The deadliest of all disease, the most notorious one, was called Black Death, or like that game that exists from Software, I think it was. No, not from Software, like from Foxhome Interactive. That was about the Black Plague. Is this? In here they call it the Black Death. In this adventure, you'll try to survive in that unforgiven era. Let's examine the interface. So it shows our health. Throughout your journey, your health meter will go up and go down. Just remember, very poor health will ultimately lead to your death, so try to take care of yourself. Health is influenced by how much sleep you enjoy, what you eat, but mostly it's influenced by three distinct factors. Injury, it's this, injury. Malaise, I think, isn't this called the liver? Yeah, that's what they are showing. And infection. It seems that is the most dangerous one. Injuries in the middle of age can be deadly, so it's important to remedy them as soon as possible. At all costs, try to avoid infections. Infection will mostly probably lead to your death. Will mostly probably lead, meaning that maybe you don't die with infections. Be careful with that. Malaise is quite common in medieval times. They are illness often from unknown origins. Drinking stale water, eating questionable food, sleeping on wet grass, all this can spur any type of sickness. Keep an eye for malaise, as they lead to poor health, which turn cause death. In this cause immediately cause death. There is no way to escape. As mentioned before, infections infections cause either the bubonic plague spread by fleas, the pneumonic plague, which is airborne or something unknown. Catching those can lead to your death within a day, so be careful. Meaning that infections, you can die or not. Malaise, you will die, but it's not immediately. And infections, these injuries, this infection, sorry about that. With infection, you will die within a day. So you don't want to have this. Your survival will be based on your decision and how you take care of yourself. Now let's take at the more intricate part of the game's mechanic, the morality, of course. Another way you can lose the game is being by stripped of all morality. During your adventure, you'll be given many choices. Some will be moral choice and will serve to ground your character in the story. This might start off as quite small, such as telling a lie, being selfish, performing wicked deeds. But as the game progresses, they will grow into more complex and perhaps twisted choices. All these choices will affect your overall morality. And while at the beginning your loved ones or friends might guide your early steps, every decision and outcome rests solely on your shoulders. You are the one that must survive this unforgiving world. Final words, be careful how you treat others. Some of your actions might come back to haunt you, of course. Okay, so it's a good tutorial. I think it's easy to understand how it works, the game mechanics, and I think it's like very good explained at the same time. So now we have here three stories that you can select. We have the Italy, you will play with Baldassar. Let me see the others. Or it's always Baldassar that you play? No, with here you play with As Black Death rages in it, Balthazar flees to France, where a voice from the past warns him of apocalypse. In his journey, he will become protector of a young French girl in search of her missing mother that as they try to survive. Okay. Interesting. So it's always with Balthazar, but in there is protect a girl. In England. What we have in England. Having befriended two armed deserters, Balthazar joins them in their journey until fate decides otherwise. Through cruel and unknown land, he reached London at the height of the pandemic, where he discovers a town ravaged by death and despair. Will he choose a path paved with goodness or turn his blade into a yap of vengeance? Chapter locked. So you need to play, right? Let me see. Yeah, you need to. So it's not. You don't choose. You need to do France. You need to do Italy, France, and England. Okay, okay. So you need always to start from Italy. Yep. Okay. I thought you needed to choose, but no. You need to always start from Italy because it's his journey that he's doing. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so we always start like this. Okay. Forlorn. I'm sure you follow that path that leads you to nearby forest. As dark creeps in the fig pine trees. What? The tougher that parts. Oh, is this continue what I had? This is my reset chapter. Let me see only. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is starting. That was continue what I had, because testing how it was. As dawn approaches, a solitary boat drifts on the Mediterranean Sea, its white sails flapping in the wind capture the attention of the local fishermen. Using grappling hooks, the men hold the vessel to the shore and make a most horrible discovery. The ship deck is covered with corpses and the dead show signs of curious illness. Their ears, mouth and fingers are black as soot. Large ball-shaped growth around their necks, armpits, and inner legs. Their bodies are frightfully colored as if they had died in the midst of pure agony. From the bow of the ship, a voice cries out, "Help us!" As it does, one of the fishermen walked down below the deck. Caw. Below the deck, he finds the rest of the crew, coughing, bedridden, and in pain. Tales of the Black Death, Italy. So in there is where you can see what you have on your statue, but they will explain that. Everything was pitch black. As sunlight spills through your window, you wake up from a night of tossing and turning that left you uneasy. A dream lingers in your mind. A tall cloaked figure carries a young girl in his arms. Black cross paint on trees. A sitting gopher in a hellish fire. Dreams like this always feel like a strange premonition. Okay, taking out everything. So we start with low health but a lot of morality. The dark fields. So as you can see, it's always like this that you see. Far the mainland lies your aunt's farm. Since the death of your uncle, the home has endured many harsh winters that have darkened the fields. For the last months you have been living with Aunt Camilla, spending your days harvesting the wheat. As you open your tired eyes, the smell of dry salted fish and freshly baked bread slaps a smile on your face. The day before had been your 14th birthday and your aunt had offered you a leather statue that will from now on follow you wherever you go. After stretching a stiff neck, you crawl out of bed and walk to the living room. These last few days you have been waking up more tired than usual. Aunt Camille greets you with a feeble smile as you glance at the loaf of bread still in the oven. I hope you slept well, Balthazar. You have a long day ahead of you. I've been baking all morning, Aunt. Your aunt edges close and examines your pale complexion. This is not the face of a boy in the prime of his teenage years. You look tired. I hope you are not coming down with anything. You shy away and take a seat at the table. Despite all her kindness, for some strange reason, Aunt Camilla always made you feel uncomfortable. Tell about your dream. As you go into details about the dream, you had Aunt Camille walks away and pick up a wooden bucket. Guilt is haunting your dreams, my poor boy. You should pray more. It will ease your soul. Aunt Camilla hands over an empty bucket. Could you bring me water from the well? For the porridge? You nod polite and head for the backyard. You know out Camilla all your life, yet she feels unpalatable. Still, you always found wisdom in her words. In the yard, you glance at the handcart gathering moss from years of neglect and know how it feels to live isolated from the rest of the world. You wonder if your aunt will die a lone widow. Inch away from the water well, you notice a dead black crow. So in here we only have this choice, because it's the tutorial, like the raven teach you something. Why do you want to poke these poor birds? I'll tell you why. Because I'm the tutorial raven and you have no say in the matter. Let's proceed with the poking. You approach with a stage mingling of reverence and cross pick up a stick and try to poke the dead bird. Black liquid oozes out of its beak. You feel a sharp pain on your palm. Open a patch, you realize you cut yourself on a rusty nail sticking out of the stick, so we are injured. The cut doesn't appear too deep, still you wince as you wipe the blood off your tongue. Ah, see what you've done? You managed to hurt yourself unexpectedly. Could it have been avoided? Maybe, maybe not. Just remember, unexpected events occur unexpectedly. That's the nature of it all, really. Returning to the task at hand, you grab the bucket, fill it with water and walk back inside the house. You walk towards the well, pick up the wooden bucket and fill it with brim with fresh water. The fresh water is tempting. Take a sip. Again, choiceless choice. The strange power of the tutorial raven. Now let's continue. So you take a sip, you take a long gulp from the bucket, quenching your thirst. As you finish drinking your fill, your eyes falls upon dead crow again. So we have malaise. A hint of nausea turns your stomach. For a brief moment you feel sickish. Ah, you drank the full water and now you are sick. Maybe it served you as a lesson. Now your hand is hurt. You are feeling queasy. That's not a good start. Or is it? In disgust, you kick the dead crow away. Again, you dunk the bucket in the well and enter the house. As you come in, Aunt Camille blows on the fire of the wood stove. The glowing embers illuminate her face. You drop the bucket next to her. She smiles as she pours half the bucket in a pot and adds 2 handfuls of wheat grains. Show your wound. Oh, look at you. How deep did you manage to cut yourself this time? Can you still make a fist? You make a fist and drips of blood fall to the ground. Oh my, it looks pretty deep. Lend me your hand. Aunt Camille grabs a clove of garlic and crushes it between 2 molars, then chews it down to pulp. Using her thumb, she spreads open your hand, examines the cut and spits right in the middle of your palm. Satisfied, she wraps your hand with a clean cloth. Ah, look at that. You already learned how to hurt yourself, but also how to get healed from injury. My little trick managed to enlighten you. That will do for now. You grimace as her garlic-infused saliva stings your wound and thank her while taking a seat at the table. You glance at the wooden barn out of the wind and wonder if your aunt has enough supplies to last through the harsh winter ahead. You notice her filling the porch with water. She casts your stare from the corner of her eye. Life was quite different when your uncle was still alive. You remember fruitful harvest summers where the barn could burst from the harvest with unparalleled. It sometimes feels like our best days are behind us. And now she the part because she doesn't have a lot, so I think it's better to say this. I know it must be hard to leave me in times like this, but I will try to manage. I already had my share of fortunate moments. With the grim expression on her face always brings sadness to your heart, as if the hardship of others could weaken your own chance of happiness. Your aunt places a bowl of porridge in front of you, then walks away to stand by the window whose gloom curtains were withdrawn. Your uncle chose this very spot to build the house. From this window, I could see him work in the fields. Their voice carries the crushing tone of nostalgia. As she turns towards you, she offers you an honest smile. Go on, Balthazar, eat up. You have a long journey ahead. You examine the little porridge in front of you. Next to it, your aunt left a warm slice of bread. Salted herrings are hung to dry near the stove. Okay, it's like you can hit everything because she joined everything. Salted fish. Enjoy the part is like she joined hot water, so delete immediate bacteria, right? Bread doesn't have bacteria. Salted fish, yeah, needed to cook. So everything. Forgetting all your. Oh no, we got something. This, damn it. For all your manage to first grab a chunk of salted herring and gulp it down with two thick slices of bread. And then, to wash down the meal, you chug the warm porridge in a few seconds. Satisfy your belt as you drop the empty bowl on the table. It seems too hot, meal, as curry your stomach aches. Ah, I'll bet. Oh no, okay, so eat it. It seems some warm food or drink can rid you of some of your illness. Let's rejoice, for you have learned another lesson. Okay, it was bad because salty fish, it was cooked, warm water on the porridge, so nothing bad, okay. Displeased by the size of your appetite and your behavior, your hand wipes off the tail with a cloth and removes the rest of the bread from the table. You realize perhaps it was selfish to eat large meal while you know she doesn't have any food to spare. Okay, so we lost a little bit of morale, I think. After breakfast, Aunt Camille walks to the door and picks up a large golden bushel of wheat. As a promise, is the wheat for your parents? On your way home, make sure to pass at the windmill. From wheat to flour, from flour to bread, as they say. You nod as you wipe your lips with the back of your hands. You jump to your feet, you put on your boots and strap the bushel on your back. Outside, the morning air is fresh and rustling leaves echo in the breeze. A large entire oak tree towers over the house and shades part of the yard. Your feet scatter the morning dew as you walk away from the house. Reaching to the footpath, you turn around to witness your aunt walking back into the house. She appears more sad than ever. You wonder if she will have stayed a few more days. Soon your aunt's house disappears behind the trees. Okay, so it wasn't the best choice to say that we didn't want to stay more there. Oh well, on your way, a strange feeling comes over you. You revisit the memory of the dream you had the night before. The tall cloak-figured young girl, the black cross painted on trees, the city engulfed in a hellish fire, and you think that black crow. So it wasn't the best choice in there. A broken fence. Under the bright blue sky, you follow the footpath through the farmlands and through the forest. On your right, the familiar wooden fence keeps the livestock from roaming too far from stables, coops, or stees. Squeak! Sudden screams of distress that sends a chill down your spine. Squeak! As you get close, the screams become more desperate. For a brief moment you wonder if you should turn back and find another way home, but decide to carry on. At the edge of the forest you discover a pig in distress. His neck is caught between two wooden planks of a broken fence. Using all his strength, Donald tried multiple times to free himself, but only managed to hurt and bruise himself. One of the wooden planks could be lifted, but that would mean getting close to the brave swine. So if you remember that game that was from Jumbo Interactive, the pigs were bringing the Black Plague. So I'm gonna leave the pig stuck in the fence. And he has those black patches in there, meaning that maybe he has the Black Plague in there too. You realize you will be putting your own life in danger helping this pig, you decide to leave. As you walk away, you glance at the trapped animal one last time, hoping someone else hears his desperate cries. Soon the cries are drowned by the sound of the forest. Hiking across the rolling meadows, you think back to the last conversation you had with Aunt Camilla when the raven strikes your melancholy. Standing on a thin branch, he seems to croak right at you. You ignore him, but after a few miles you realize the bird is following your every step. As many you consider the raven to be an omen of bad things, that's true. A cold chill runs down your back as his glossy black eyes peer into yours. Annoyed by his insistent nagging, you grab a stone and aim straight at the birds. I think it's better not to throw to the bird because it can attack to us. So drop the stone. Unclasp your hand, you let the stone fall to the ground. The senator appeared to have frightened the raven. When you lift your gaze, the bird is nowhere to be found. You follow the narrow trail that leads into a pine forest. Many times you glance up the trees in search of black feather pest, but you only find bare branch. As you reach a clearing, you see above the tree line the sails of a large windmill slowly turning in the wind. On top of the hill, the long grass blades are bent almost permanently by the power-coughing winds, and the turning sails appear never-ending. At the base of the mill, a lone figure is stacking sacks of flour. Albert, the one-hand miller, notes you in the distance. Baldassar, how nice to see you again. As the miller waves with his lone hand, you show him the bushel of wheat you come bearing. Alberico greets you with a knowing smile, examines the wheat, and takes it to the mill. Let me get to work. It shouldn't take too long. Okay, gaze at landscape or follow Albuquerque to the windmill. Gaze at the landscape. Waiting for the mill, you gaze over the horizon and see the small fisherman town where you grew up. A feeling of joy fills your heart as you realize you'll soon be reunited with your parents. A strong wind blows through your clothes and gives you a chill and decide to join Albert in the windmill. You enter the mill and take a seat on a small bench behind the miller. From the scene, a strong drive shaft forces large gears to turn and you observe Albert pours grains to the millstones. Albert has been operating the windmill for many years and is known around Tuscany for his fair price and dog-based treats. You notice a jar of barley cookies on a small table. You could probably take one without being noticed. Oh, we need to steal. Okay. Stealing a cookie. Is this the sort of great moral dilemmas that are awaiting you all along this journey? Perhaps not. Some choices help move the story forward. Okay. Some choices grow your character. There you go. And some choices might change how some characters feel about you. That's true. Just remember. The wise tutorial sees everything. Okay. So we can choose to steal, like it says, to grow your character, or ask for a cookie. Let's steal. Find the right moment when Albert appears to start. You dive your hand to the cookie jar and take out one of the large cookies. Is that how your parents brought you up, Baldassar? To become a thief? You lift your gaze and see Albert stare at you. What kind of world would you have if people just took what they wanted? Chef, you drop the cookie back into the jar. In your mind, you repeat to yourself, it's only a cookie, yet you have a feeling there is some truth to the man's words. You observe as the one hand mill unfolds a cloth stack to catch the resulting flour. Soon all the weight has been crushed and the bag is filled. As the player takes one cup of flour and hands over the rest of the bag. You nod and prepare to examine when you gaze lands upon a familiar treasure. On the wall above the door, Alberto keeps as a token of his good fortune a golden florin coin. It's the only florin coin you ever seen, and each time you pass it you are left in awe by its golden glow. As Alberto dusts off the floor that fell to the ground, you exit the windmill. Knowing your parents earlier wait your return, you bid Alberto farewell and start the walk down the hill. I know you have enjoyed my illustration, but it's already time for me to leave. Others less fortunate than yourself need me. Remember what you have learned. There is no right, there is no wrong. There is only your survival and choice you are willing to take. Beware of your choice. Indulging in iniquities will diminish your morality and could lead to the loss of your soul. You are now on your own. Okay, so that wasn't a good choice in there. After a long hike, you spotted in the familiar olive orchard where you used to play hide and seek as a toddler. So in there you should ask for the cookie. A grim homecoming. Not too far from the large orchard and off to the footpath lies your house. From one generation to the other, olives have been at the center of your family livelihood. The old home built by your great-grandfather even borrowed a wooden carving of an olive tree. As you approach, you sense something strange and unfamiliar. The shutters on most windows are closed shut. Passing by chicken coops, you notice the chickens haven't been fed. You carefully push open the front door of the house. As sunlight creeps in, a voice echoes in the darkness. Don't come in, my son, we are not well. The weaker voice of your father sends cold fingers creeping you up your spine. Some terrible illness has fallen up your mother and me. You approach your parents slowly, but suddenly jump back in awe as you notice black patches covering their neck and hands. In the darkness, your mother's bloodshot eyes reflect the pale sunlight. Your father's sunken face, recognizing from the man he once was, turns to you. I feel you might be at the end of our long and harrowing journey. You hesitate in the doorway. Okay, go to town. I think it's the best one. Abandoning your parents make you feel conflicted inside. You hope you made the right decision. The Miss Begotten village. At the edge of the Mediterranean Sea lies a small gathering of quaint houses connected by winding footpaths, all leading to a century-old stone church. At the eastern part of the village you see the fish market near the docks. You turn down the cobblestone path and stop at town square. In this tight-knit community you know only one person can truly help your parents. Okay, we have the priests or the doctor. It's like it said in the beginning, our parents are like church people. The doctor, they could help, but it's something new, so maybe he doesn't know nothing about it. So maybe go to the priests. All the streets in town lead to the church front door. The stone church was built years ago and has become a place of solace, refuge and peace. From this holy ground, the priest keeps a steady eye on his flock. You knock on the door and wait, but no one comes to answer. Knock, knock. Knock a second time, you realize the door isn't shut. You push on the heavy door and it slowly opens, revealing the ornamented church interior. The benches are vacant, and at the end of the night, the altar where the priest usually gives his sermon is bare. Take a seat and pray. You kneel, bring your hands together, close your eyes, and pray in a low voice, asking God to relieve the suffering of your parents. As you stand up, you sense the presence behind you. You quick turn, but only see a shadow disappear through the open door. Thinking of your ailing parents, you leave church. The Curse of Worf. In the gray sky single circle, the dogs open to find the scar of the fish. The food market, usually buzzing with paddlers, is deserted except for a few fishermen negotiating raw oyster and pickled herring price. A sudden the boy grabs your attention as he passes behind one of the merchants and swiftly walks away with something tucked under his shirt. Without missing a beat, it disappears behind the food stand, only to emerge a few moments after right behind you. So what are you, the market watchman? Yeah, I saw you picking my way. I have sixth sense about these things. After diving his hand deep under his shirt, the boy takes out a smoked herring. That's the reward for being nimble and clever. So you can denounce or praise the boy quickly as offhand. I go for this. When you travel the world, as I did, survival becomes second nature. The boy tucks the smoked herring back under his shirt and starts to walk away, but reconsiders. My name is Lorenzo. You introduce yourself and mention your sick parents. That's strange. Just near the pier, there is this market boat stand on the bench. The crew look at that sick. Black patch, pale skin, bugged out eyes. You wonder if your parents were victims of the same illness. Anyhow, I'm heading out of here. Small towns are not the best place for anonymity. Without another word, the boy leaves your side. Passing behind a few market stands and walking between shadow and light, the boy disappears. You think of your ailing parents and hesitate. The shipwreck feels so close. Nah, if it where the illness started, I don't want to go there. Return to our parents. A grave return. With a strange feeling of doom, you follow the familiar path leading up the hill and to your house. The shades of the large oak trees, the ominous silence, the closed shutters all make your home look more secluded than ever. Promptly you open the door and call out to your parents. Your calls are left unanswered and you fear the worst. As you creep into the house, you find both your parents dead in their beds. Their gaping mouths and bloodshot eyes staring into oblivion are horrible reminder that life is precarious. Telling yourself that at least they are no longer in agony doesn't give you any solace. Let them bury their bodies. No, let's bury their bodies. You leave the house and pick up the shovel near the chicken coop. Until dusk you dig the hole that will become the last resting place of your parents. Once complete, you bring it into the house. You wrap your mother in her bed sheets and bring her body to the yard. When you do so, you cannot keep back your tears. A few moments later, you lay your father beside her. You shovel dirt on top of them until you are exhausted. You collapse at the foot of their grave and close your eyes. You create a tombstone out of pile of rocks in their memory. You feel at peace knowing you gave your parents a proper resting place. In the distance you see the priest of the parish climbing up the hill to your house. He takes one look at you and shakes his head. Balthazar, you have my deepest condolences. You lower your head and stare at the ground. Sir, I come bearing distressing news. Authorities are arresting those who might have contact with this vile infection. Your name was mentioned. The doctor asked you to be placed under quarantine. But how the doctor knows? So it was the doctor that opened the door on church? Maybe. You take a step back, wondering what you should do. I came here to warn you. Your parents were devoted to the church. I would hate to see their son die in a cell. I suggest you flee. Okay, ask advice. Thievery, blasphemy, bloodshed, or any other unforgivable sin will ultimately lead to your demise. Some are fallen into despair and lunacy, others into melancholy or madness. Choose your words and your actions wisely. Sometimes they can be forgiven, but never are they truly forgotten. Okay? You know solemnly. Oh, and Balthasar, do not lose yourself in foolish distractions. After those alarming words, the priest wishes you luck and bids you farewell. Once the clergyman is out of sight, you glance at the deadly house one last time. Grief ridden, you settle it safer to leave all your belongings behind as you begin to follow the road heading north. Unsure, you follow the path that leads into the nearby forest. As the darkness creeps in, a thin fog materializes. Rising over the pine trees, you can see the sails of the windmill pulling at the mists. Forlorn. Unsure, you follow the path that leads you to nearby forest. As darkness creeps in, a thin fog materializes. Rising over the pine trees, you can see the sails of windmill pulling at the mist. Disgruntled, you sit on the grassy lawn at the base of the windmill and stare into the dark night. The thought of your dead parents keeps finding its way into your mind and your heart sinks down in your guts. You try to hold back your tears, but they just keep rolling off your cheeks. The wind dies down for a minute, and as the sail creaks to a stop, you hear a voice behind you. Your parents are dead, aren't they? Just like the sails near the wharf. Effortlessly wiping off your tears, you nod slowly. Lawrence takes a seat beside you. In silence, you watch as sun sets over the horizon until darkness engulfs the valley. As your belly growls, Lawrence takes out from his pocket the piece of fish he stole from the market, cuts it in half, and offers you a piece. So it's like fish, raw fish isn't bad because like sushi is safe. So grab the piece of fish and eat. It's the best one. Because increase a little bit. You grab the piece of salted fish and chew on it silently. A faint glow appears from the church and you wonder if the priest is having a nightly sermon to reassure his flock. The cross over the step serves as a reminder that God is our Savior and will protect the poor, the weak and the defenseless. At least you hope he will. You are awoken by the sounds of thunder and notice a storm is brewing in the sky. So now it's raining, of course. While you are still finding your bearings, Lawrence is already packing his things. Come on, better not linger too long in these parts, especially if local authorities are on the lookout. Sharing all sentiments, you pack in haste. You receive the first drops of rain in your forehead, and before long the rain grows into an impressive flood. You mention to Lawrence you could head over to your aunt's farmhouse beyond the valley. With rain dripping from his chin, Lawrence nods in agreement. Walking down the hill, you wonder how you'll explain your son's return to Camilla, and more important, how you will announce the death of your parents. Mud deep. As quickly it came, the storm drifts away, leaving Lawrence and you soaking wet. The clouds part and the early sun soon shines brightly, drying off your drenched clothes. Okay, so it dried, but it's full of water yet. As you hike up a small hill, you glance at Lawrence. He seems to be in great spirits for a boy who didn't eat all morning and venture on a muddy road. You are about to say softly when you notice a horse pull a cart in the distance. The market cart appears to be stuck deep in the mud. A stranger is pulling at the horse as his companion tries to lift the heavy cart out of the mud. As you approach, Strange waves you over. As you prepare to walk towards him, Lawrence places his hand on your shoulder. I don't think they are merchants. Indeed, clothed in rags and mismatched shoes, they look more like thugs or drifters. Okay, so leave the road. You start walking towards the ditch and one of the strangers starts running after you. Afraid you all start to run but suddenly trip on foul face down in the muddy grass. As you get your sense back, you realize you trip over a dead man. Lawrence lends you a hand, quickly helps you to your feet. As two men are coming your way, Lawrence takes out his sharp knife. You guys stay back. Calm down, boys. That man was already dead when we found the cart. Look for yourself. Okay, so let's examine the corpse. You walk over to the head market and bend over to examine him. You are about to turn him over when you notice the same dark patch on his skin as your parents had. You step back in horror. See, I told you didn't kill him. Why not help us get the wheel back onto the cart? I'm in a generous mood. We could reward you with a little something. Let's help. Two men look at each other and grin. I knew you will understand. You walk over to the cart and Lawrence joins. Together you lift the rear of the cart while the men try to slide the heavy wheel back on the axle. As you stretch the curved wheel, you keep having the feeling they lied to you in some way. Once the wheel is properly attached, one of the strange gives a precautionary kick to test its sturdiness. Looks like that's going to hold. Well, thanks for all the help. We couldn't have fixed this cart without you. Lawrence observes you with suspicious eyes. Ah yeah, I forgot. You guys wanted a reward? That's decline. It's like we don't need. You know there's something gonna happen, so because they are thieves. Well, might as well get going then. Okay, road blocked at bridge. Because like we know they are thieves but we help them, so we know something will happen if you try then to get something. I think it was the best choice. Maybe they could give you something, I don't know. I think they will give. Maybe it was food. Walking down a grassy slope, you notice a river in the distance. Soldiers bearing long spears are blocking the access to the lone bridge. Further away you notice a man pulling an old grey mule. A sickly, pale young boy is lying on the mule. Guards, do you think this could have something to do with the stolen cart? I think it's better if we stay back. These guys can only mean trouble. Okay, hide near a bush. You quick hide near a bush. Lorenzo points out a iron cage wagon near the bridge. That cage is death trap. Luckily, the guards didn't see us. As you survey that, Lawrence shaves his pointy elbow into your sides. Hey look, a path that leads under the bridge. Without another word, Lawrence sneaks past the bush and heads toward the river. You quick follow suit, mimicking his every move, sneaking from shadow to shadow. Under the bridge, Lawrence dips his boot in the river. No wonder they built a bridge. Look at this river. It's foaming at the mouth, ready to devour us alive. In the rapids you make a few rocks that could serve to cross the river. What do you think we should do? Let Lawrence go first. It's like he seems to know how to evade things, so you look at the river and tell Lawrence that he should go first. He shrugs and sets foot on nearest stone. Then he jumps to another large stone further in the river. As you watch, you wonder if you will be able to follow his steps. Splash! Just as you are about to set foot on first stone, you see Lawrence in this loose balance and fall in rapids. Help! You start to run for the river bank, but as you emerge from under the bridge, guards who also heard the scream tackle you to the ground. As they hold you down, your paws watch Lawrence battle with the strong current. You try to expect that your friend will drown if you don't help him, but the guards just punch you in the guts. They drag you to an iron cage and lock you in. The iron cage bars are cold and sturdy. Biding your time, you take a seat on the wooden side bench. A few moments later, you hear one of the guards approaching. I brought you some company. The guards open the cage and a man and a sickly boy are pushed in. So that wasn't the best choice because I lost some morale. Damn. One of the guards ties the old grey mule behind the cart. The pale skin of the boy and his painful coffee reminds you of sick parrots. Okay, cover. You could cover your face with the shirt you have on and keep a close eye on new cellmates. But it wasn't the best choice because I lose. Because like our Lorenzo might die because he was through the current. After a while the cart starts to move, the old mule falls behind it. You begin to understand this might be your last ride as the wagon feels like a death trap. As the iron cage passes below a tall tree, you hear a familiar croak. As you look up and see a raven on a thin branch, a shiver passes through your spine. The crows are lurking. You look at the man sitting in front of you in the iron cage. Corvus. Crows, ravens, and rooks. They all smell death from miles away. Holding his son close to him, the father starts to caress the boy's pale forehead. I lost my wife this morning. Now my boy is sick. He needs a doctor. Not being stuck in a cage. And the crows, the ravens, and the rooks. They are watching. Frightfully look up to the tree branch and count 5 ravens. You hear gagging, and as you look at the sickly boy with disgust, black saliva covers his pale lips. God himself sent us this disease. He says God. We can agree or disagree. Let's agree. You nodding agreed while looking away from the sick child. We are gonna feel it soon. And so will you. You lie down on the cage and close your eyes. But you lost a little bit of morale too. The wagon travels the whole day and finally stops at nightfall. The guards set up a camp not too far away from the iron cage. The air is cold and the wind is relentless. On the opposite side of the iron cage, the father and son have managed to fall asleep, but from time to time the young boy trembles with fever. You overheard the guards describe the rest of the journey and understand you still have 3 long days trapped in this gloomy cage. You examine the father, his dark sunken eyes, his very pale skin, and thus he might also be battling some type of infection. With great hesitation, you pull up your shirt and examine your frail body. You are relieved not to find any black patch. Still you feel swelling in your throat. Oh fuck. You are sick. A whisper comes out of the darkness. Hey, it's me. Looks like you are still alive. So Lorenzo survived. On the pale moonlight you can barely discern a small silhouette, but the voice is revealed, it's Lorenzo. And guess what? Those souls are drunk as skunks. I managed to steal the keys of one of them. Lorenzo edged close to the cage. Balthazar, you don't look so good. Are you infected? You describe your swollen throat and itchy eyes to Lorenzo, hoping you'll brush it off as some sort of allergies. Instead he walks away from the iron cage, mortified. A swollen throat? Show me your neck. Pull down your shirt. You get close to the cage and expose your neck and body. Relieved not to see any of those dark skin patches, Lorenzo continues. Maybe you caught some kind of flu sleeping out here. Better hurry to your house so she can have a look at you. Let's ride the mule to save time. Lorenzo took at the old man and he shot behind you. They won't need it. That kid is already dead. That's true. As long as you unlock the iron cage, you feel your fever getting stronger. As soon as the gate opens, the father pushes you aside and carries his child direct to the mule. Get out of my way. This is my mule, and I need it. You will be damned if you steal from me. Lorenzo grabs the bridle attached to the mule head. We are taking the mule, old man. Right, Balthazar? Yeah, take the mule. Because the kid is already dying. We can reach to our aunt house and save us. So we are gonna take it. Feverish, you push the old man aside and climb on the mule. Lorenzo jumps on in front of you and whips the old man. As you flee, you look at the bloody scene behind you. The father nearly on the ground holding his dying child. You'll be damned. Our morale is so down. Jesus. Lorenzo rides mule onto the dead of night, follow the narrow path that leads to your aunt's home. As fever grows, times become blurred and you lose consciousness. You never wake up and die from the mysterious illness. You have died. Damn it. Okay, backtrack. Okay, let's do a backtrack. So something is wrong in here. It's from 1 that I did something wrong. Okay. This we already know. Your parents are dead. Yeah, blah blah. It's like you get always wet. Grab the fish and eat. Okay. It's like it's always raining then. It's like you get wet. Okay, so we can skip this because we already saw this. Okay, but deep. Okay, this is the thieves. Let's do what we did. There is something that needs to be different. Okay. No, we don't want a rewire. Help man fix the cart. So maybe the thing that is needs to be different is on the river. Is it? Instead of going through the river, we need to get close to the guards. Maybe get close to the guard bridge. As you approach the bridge, Lorenzo diverts towards the thick green bush. You are about to follow him when one of guards notices you. Stop right there. Quickly, guard reaches you. What's your name? Where are you from? Where are you going? You hesitate to answer. Lie. The guard listens to your response and nods to one of the other guards. Suddenly someone grabs you by the shoulders and forcibly drags you towards the large iron cage wagon. You realize you want to get hurt. Show what? Same thing again. It's like I lost some morale there because I tried to lie. He needs a doctor. It's like he needs a doctor. We know that's hard to heal this. Disagree with his blasphemy. Let me see if it shows. Don't go if you are better than the rest. Losing your sleep, you wipe the filler off your face. Okay, so he speak to us. You moved first corner of the cage. Okay, this is a thing. Yeah, we get always the disease. There is no way. So we can't get in prison. Because it's because of this, because we are sleeping in here. Because again, if you go with the mule, let's say this. Holding back to your car, you look at moon, point to the west and start walking. Keep going, keep walking, but fear is too strong, you lose consciousness, you never wake up, you died. What? Because there is no way that you can evade the raining. If I say refuse the offer. Because same thing. Yeah, it's always raining. Don't tell me that I need to do from the beginning. That's kind of weird, like let's try a different thing in here. Because flee. Okay, we lost a lot of stamina, but we get injured too. You already mongrel yourself there. Try to be more careful next time. That should do for now. Let's make it over to the ridge. Yeah, again this, you always go to here. Tell the truth. Let's see, telling the truth. Nose fighting. Yeah, it's the same thing. Doesn't change nothing. So we need to help the card? It's like, huh? So it's something about what that I need to change. Because you reach here, you are already with an infection. Because you get wet. So it's like you can't get inside. So what is the difference in here? Is the helping the guy, those guys? Because it's same thing always. You have died. Because it can't be like starting the chapter, doing everything again. It's like I don't know what I did wrong. In here we need to like, because there is no way that you go inside here. Right, it's like there is no way to go inside. It has to be in here that you need to do something. Maybe go meet Strange. As you get close, Strange starts to grin. You guys arrived just in time. We were heading to Florence to sell some of our goods. And lo and behold, one of the hills came loose. Let's give a speech. Star walks. This always happens to these muddy back roads. Do you mind giving us a hand? Maybe lift the car from ground while we put the wheel back on? Just as we reach the car, your gaze wanders across the field where you notice a patch of coal in the ditch. Focusing your eye, closely in horror, it's a dead person face down the muddy grass. Silently you point at Macaro's go to Lorenzo. That's the merchant. I bet these thugs jumping now, they stealing this cart, and we are helping them with the evil deed. Seeing your pale face, one of Strange approaches mentally. Is there something wrong as you mention that guy is in the ditch? Ah, that guy over there? Yeah, well, listen. The cart was abandoned. We look around and saw this guy in the ditch, so we thought he's dead, right? He won't need the cart or these goods anymore, right? So we decided to take the cart, bring it back to Florence. Maybe find his wife or something. And give her the cart. The Strange lets this information skin in and then adds. The guy was already dead when we found the cart. Lawrence shakes his head in disbelief. You don't believe us? Have a look for yourself. Yeah, examine the corpse. These were a same. See, I told you didn't kill the guy. Why not help us get back to the wheel? I'm in Jerry's mood. We could reward you with a little something. Okay, help. I knew you understand. The same thing. Looks like that's going to hold. Hey, thanks for all the help. We couldn't fix this card without you. Ah yeah, I forgot. You guys want a reward? Well, look at that. Looks like you guys enjoyed the least at least feast today. Strange pull out some dried meat, okay? Cuts the piece in half and hands it over to you. Lawrence quick grabs the piece. I'll carry it. Strange starts laughing at his partner, climbs on the cart and starts whipping the horse. After a few attempts, the cart moves on the mud. You watch the cart soon disappear in distance. Lawrence offers you a piece of dried meat. Here's your half. Noticing Lawrence gave you a larger chunk of meat than in this. You grab the piece with glee. You shove down the dry meat with Lawrence without wasting a moment. Sets the pace of the hike. Okay, always same. Doesn't change, like everything leads to here. So hide near bush. That trap, because there is no way to escape. A path that leads under the bridge. No one of the boat bridge after, okay, this same thing. What do you think we should do? So, us first. Careful step on the coast, then jump to another. You glance on silhouettes following your every step. You spot another rock that could be a landing point near the riverbank, but as you get ready to jump, you are quickly halted by a muffled cry. Run! You turn around, silhouettes quickly ducking in the bush. In front of you, souls guard you with spears, one of them jumps. It's same thing. Avoid some company, this same thing. Cover your mouth with your shirt. Yeah, this same thing then. How will I get the disease? Because if I get the disease I need to do things since the beginning again. And it's like, what the hell? What is the wrong thing that I did? Yeah, you get this always. You need to start from the beginning. What? Yeah, this is not very good, man. Like, I understand, but it's like, if there is no way to take out the disease, because it's only the flu and you die immediately. Can't be like that. Because it's like it's no way to evade that, because you die always. See? No, I survive. It's because of the hunger that because I survived. So you needed to help the thieves. Okay. And like the difference is because you have more health that you survive. It's like They say that you die immediately with this, but they never say that if you lose all the like okay you lose all health you die, but the problem is how you know that you need to walk a lot and you need like this health. Okay, so we progress, thank God. So you needed to help the thieves is the difference. It is. In the dark you hear your aunt's familiar voice and feel reassured. Throughout the day you are delirious but with strong fever. You have vague memories of your aunt feeding you barley, water and boiled onions. Then one morning you sit in bed feeling much cured, okay? Your aunt sits at the edge of your bed, a worrisome look on her face. How are you feeling, Baldassar? Ah, it looks fine. Can I have a bit more soup? Your aunt smiles and nods to Lorenzo, who quickly fills up his bowl. Want some? You shake your head as Aunt Camilla places her cold hand on your forehead. What brings you back to the countryside, Baldassar? Confess your flee from no, parents' death. Your aunt's eyes widen as she slowly sits down to digest the troubling news. Noticing Camilla going silent, you try to comfort her. A strange illness surrounds us, nothing like this fever. People are dying. Aunt Camilla looks at you with worrisome eyes. People are dying? Aunt Camilla gets up and looks out the window for a short moment, then walks over to the stove to check on the boiling soup. It will be wise to never go back home, Baldassar. You both can spend the night and tomorrow. Best you leave before authorities come here. You walk close to the warm fireplace and wonder. Your aunt's house is the only safe place you know of. Soon Aunt Camilla places a bowl of soup in front of you. Florence is the city where you should go. In your mind, Florence sounds almost like a mystical place. Florence stares into flames in silence. As shadows flicker around the room, you feel nervous, but with your belly filled with hot soup, manage to fall asleep. They are coming. You wake up alarmed by Lorenzo, who quickly packing his things. They are coming. You get out of bed and look into the distant road through the morning fog. Pack your things, Baldassar. Our soul is not too far away. You need to get away from this place. You hug your aunt one last time, remembering all she did for you. We have to go. Following Lorenzo, you dive into a ditch and cross the barren fields. The morning fog turns thicker as you follow the path into the woods. Soon you reach a long winding road that splits in all directions. Which way do you think we should go? We can't even see the sky with all this fog. Unsure which way to go, you shrug. Let's try this branch here and, well, if it's the wrong path, we'll just have to backtrack back here. Then we will take another road. Doesn't sound much like a plan, but you have nothing else to purpose. After a few hours of turning in search, you finally manage to pick the right path. So you lost a little bit of health, because we are hungry. After a hike all day, you find a grassy glade near the road and set camp. As you unpack the ragged linen you use as your bed, Lawrence gathers a few rocks. We need to get fire going, so we need branch. I wanna make soup, so we'll need water. Fetch water. You remember seeing a pond not far away on near path and volunteer to fetch the water. Lawrence lends you his water canteen made of goat skin. You walk half a mile and arrive in a mossy green area and find stagnant ponds. You bend down, fill the canteen and notice many snails nearby. No, drink some water, no. Grab as many snails as you can, because snails cooked are good too. Turning over a few rocks, you manage to capture quite a few snails. You put them in snatch for safekeeping. Satisfied, you leave the pond. Following the scent of burning branch, you make it back to camp. Lorenzo already started the fire. You hand over the canteen to Lorenzo, who immediately fills up the pot. You found water? Looks like that's the only good news of the evening. You show him snails and he beams with joy. That's great, Baldassar. And here I was thinking you were useless. Thank you, Lorenzo. You shrug at the comment while throwing the snails into the boiling water. Soon you are both sitting by the fire enjoying the soup. Well, I hope you enjoy pine stew because that's what's on the menu. Lorenzo grabs a handful of pine bark and throws it into the boiling water. Soon you are both sitting by the fire blowing on the hot soup. Playful conversation around the campfire turns to a grimmer topic. You never stole anything, not even an egg? You shake your head and finding nothing wrong with it. Lawrence then takes out of his pocket a golden florin coin and parades it under your nose. You will never guess where I got this. Almost hypnotized by the glowing coin, you stay silent. You give up? Remember that windmill where we met at nightfall? Yup. At that moment, remember it clear and recognize the golden florin. The coin used to belong to Alberico, the one-hand miller. That's right, I broke into the mill while you slept. I looked around for anything of value but found nothing. That is until I decided to leave. Then I saw just above the door a golden florin coin. Upon hearing the story, you are unsure how you feel. Seeing your puzzle expressed, Lawrence placed the coin just within reach of your hands. If you want, it's yours. No, because it's like you can get and then give to that person, right? So it can help a little bit. So I think I gotta take. But at the same time, you can think that we stole. Before you say you grab the shiny coin and examine it carefully. On one side you see a flower, and on the other side a strange portrait of a man wearing a cloak. You find the coin most impressive. Still, you can't help think of sadness Alberico must have felt when not someone stole it. His token of good fortune. Lawrence picks up on your uncertainty. I don't think you are meant for this world. It's cruel out here and unforgiving. For a moment, Lawrence appears too deep in thoughts. I will kill the man. I mean, if things got really ugly and I had no other option. Rubbing his shins, he grins. How about you? Could you take another man's life? Could I take one man's life? Choose wisely, like the priest said. I couldn't. How about if it's to save a friend? Someone you care for is in danger, you are the only one that can save them. You shrug off the idea. Thoughts like this used to keep me up nights. Your eyes half open, you examine the flames as they dance together to create the fire before you. You recall the priest preaching against violence and wonder if his own life has ever been in danger. Because like the priest said, choose wisely. At the gates. Finally, after camping by the roadside and feeding on wood pigeons and boiled water, you arrive at the top of a ridge and you see an impressive gathering of owls in the distance. There it is, in all its mighty glory, Florence. You gaze in amazement at the largest city you have ever encountered. Here we can find shelter, plenty of food, and most of all, anonymity. Together you walk down the slope and move close to a massive rampart that blocks the passage to the city. Soldiers are patrolling the iron gates. What do you think? Sorry, the news of our journey hasn't reached this town. We are true nobodies. Proceed through the front door. As you approach, one of them, armed with sharp spears, tells you to move forward towards him. Without a word, he examines the lens from head to toe, then focuses on you. For an area of speech, he grants you access to the city. You walk in, followed closely by Lorenzo. Okay, no problems. Florence. What will happen if you will go through the other side? That's the problem. Immediately you are stunned by the impressive architecture of Florence. Streets are paved with cobblestones and crammed halls create a sprawling maze of small alleyways. The city is lively, but also you notice a few more guards patrolling the streets. I have a bad feeling. I never seen so many guards. A sense of uneasy in the air is palpable. People walk with haste, some pulling carts, others holding barrels as if they are preparing for some sort of siege. You recall as a mischief of rats quickly pass near your feet. Here you go, rats too. Then in that game from Foxhome Interactive there were rats too. Let's try to find supplies or at least a safe place to spend the night. I suggest we split up and meet back here around midnight. Still overwhelmed, you nod slowly. Oh, and whatever you do, don't get caught. With those words, Lois disappears into a nearby alleyway. Take your own path. You start walking and blade with small crowd and as best you can. You pass a house with the window open and on the ledge 3 loaves of black bread are airing in the sun. Black bread. Is that like bad or it's good? Let's try to steal. You walk close to the window, take one off and tuck it under your shirt. Some of you have learned from Lawrence, yeah, but we lost morality. God is watching. Leaving the hallway, you find yourself facing an old church. As a few beggars and poor townsfolk crowd the steps of the old structure, you understand this church serves people of great misfortune. A woman carrying a child exits the church, leaving the door ajar. Propelled by cross and a spiritual calling, you creep in. The candlelit church interior is almost bare of any art and ornaments apart from a dozen hung paintings and a large cross erected behind a stone altar. As your footsteps echo and disturb the holy silence, a few praying worshippers glance at you with disapproving face. Trying to avoid their gaze, you walk towards a white painting with illustrated mounted, a guarding of faithful and a cross. In the dark recess, you notice a confession booth. You walk over and discover a copper box held shut by a metal lock. You dig deep in your pocket and find the golden florin coin Lorenzo stole from the one-hand miller. This rather nice, still donation box. Drop a coin. I will drop the golden coin in the metal box. It offers a loud clank that resonates through the church. Realize the box was empty. You fight off a small wave of consternation, enter the dim-lit booth, and sit on a wooden bench. Having not been to confession for a long time, you are unsure how to begin. You think of your journey so far and try to remember the things you have done. Surely no one of them are mortal sins. Do not be afraid of confession, my child. For as often as you might fall down, you can pick yourself up again. So too, as often as you sin, you can repent. You bow your head in silence and rack your mind for sins. Confess theft, announce you bear no sin, confess gluttony. Theft. With your most humble voice, you confess your sin. Theft is punished by law, my son, and in the eyes of the Lord, you have committed the deadly sin of greed. You have done wise to come to church and confess. Tell me, my son, do you feel remorse? Acknowledge remorse. The churchman leans in closer and whispers. The road to salvation can be a tricky one. One can say he feels remorse, but is not truly looking to repent. The priest moves back away from the finale, clears his voice, and continues. For this man is more of a game of wisdom where trickery and deception is used. But God sees through that, and so do I. Uneasy, you prepare to leave the confession booth. But I trust you came to me with pure heart and grant you forgiveness. Thankful you not. So he increases, thank you. The priest, thank you. Be truthful, young boy. God is watching. With those final words, you step out of the stuffy booth and realize your forehead is moist with sweat. You exit church and head to the nearby plaza. Keep your head low, you pass a few shops, turn into a large street and finally arrive onto a city plaza. In this you notice a small commotion. Rats. Here we go. Here come the rats now. In a far corner, peasants are gathering around a young girl who is having a fit of rage. Rats have cornered the poor child and her attempt to scare them off has failed. Look at the rat. For some strange reason, the sight of rats scares the living hell out of everyone, and not a soul attempts to help the girl. Look for a weapon. While the rats start to climb on the girl's dress, you frantically search the plaza for some kind of weapon. On your left, you spot an old man leaning on a crooked wooden cane. In the corner of your eye, you see rats attacking the girl as she cries out in horror. You grab the cane and swiftly strike one of the largest rats violently. It lets out an ear-piercing scream, scaring off the other rats, or at least make them hesitant to attack you. You get close to the girl and notice a black patch around her neck and forearms. Those are clear signs she is infected by the same disease that killed your parents. This is hard. Save the girl or leave her to die. It's like she has that. It's like we can save her, but at the same time it's bad. So I think I'm gonna leave her to die. You move away and watch the scene unfold. Rats bite, scratch the young girl's naked feet. They climb up her body, dripping dress as she struggles to fight them off. She falls to the ground, hysterical. Overwhelmed by their sharp teeth and instant assaults, the girl passes out. More rats appear from darkest corners of the plaza and crawl towards her. Having seen enough, you cover your eyes, but the gut-wrenching screams chill your bones. These are the most horrendous thing you have witnessed in your life. Rhythmic footsteps approach and you notice guards heading your way. You duck quickly into the nearest hallway and start running until you feel far enough from the unforgiving plaza. It's like, yes, you lost morale, but You are not sick. Like, okay, it will be good to save her, but we'll get the Black Plague, so I don't want that. Thus to dawn curfew. As night falls, flickering lamps appear in the distance as a thin layer of wood smoke fills the air. At the edge of a tall church, a watchman in a thick leather coat rings an iron bell and calls out, "Night curfew!" Far away you hear the distant crack of doors and shutters closing shut. Soon the streets are bare except for a few rats scrabbling along the halls or crawling deep in the gutters. As the watchman enters in your direction, you notice a drunk walking aimless in the hallway. Suddenly he lowers his trousers and starts to take a leak against the wall. As the glow of the watchman's lantern heads towards the alley, you need to act quickly. You could push the drunkard into the street to cause a distraction and flee, or you could hide in the shadow. Noticing armed men with the watchman, you quickly hide in the shadows. The soldiers pull out a few doors, handles confirming each has been locked. Curfew! As Drunk finishes leaving his cell, he starts walking towards the street, but trips over a dark mass. As Watchman edges close, you discover the dark mass is a dead dog. The drunk is swiftly surrounded by a watchman and a few guards. The altercation turns violent as they arrest him. One of the guards peers into touch and spots you. Fuck, flee! You dash out behind the car and run towards the nearest door. You hear shouting behind you. You try a few doors hands, but each one is locked. You make a few quick turns and arrive in a small plaza. You haven't walked 2 steps when the watchman slams a baton to your back. You fall to the ground painfully. Damn it! Of course there was a dead dog in there. Of course, a debt. The guards bring you to the city's guard house, where you are escorted along a dark and humid corridor to meet with the command of the city guards. As you enter his chambers, the commandant, a broad-shouldered man with chiseled face, barely acknowledges your presence. With a stern look on his face, he turns his attention to a document before him and starts writing. Body shall not be removed from the place of death until they have been enclosed in a wooden box, and the lid closed and nailed down. Impatient, one of the guards moves forward, but as he opens his mouth, the commander lifts an authoritative finger and orders him to stay silent. Sheepish, the guard steps back as the commander continues to write. Each grave shall be dug 2.5 arms length deep. Any person attending a funeral shall not accompany the deceased further than the door of the church. The commander takes a deep breath, so that sounds of bells doesn't trouble or frighten the sick. No bells are to be rung during funerals. Satisfied, the man puts down his pen and finally turns his attention to you. Of course, this won't apply to the burials of knights, doctors, and judges. As the guard nods in agreement, the commander locks his piggish eyes on you and wins. We cannot have vagrants roaming the streets of the great Republic of Difference, especially in times like this. Where do you came from, boy? Florence. Ah, a vagrant and liar, damn it, in you. Clearly you are not from here, damn it. That's sad. The commander taps his fingers a few times on the hardwood table. You are from the south, from the coastal Alps. You must be aware of disease probably all over the countryside. Surely you have seen the results of this abomination. The death? The suffering? Tell the truth. That's why I was afraid of. You understand then why we cannot let you walk freely in our streets. The commander leans back into his chair. I don't play well with others and I have no tolerance for lies. This is why I was elected to be commander of the city guard. I will ask you one last question, and if a lie crosses your lips, I will have you executed. I've made myself clear? Terrify you not. Did you enter the city by yourself, or were you accompanied? It's like, this is the problem. So you enter in front, like that they know. So if you enter to the other sides, you could say this. As you confess you entered the city with another boy, the commander's face turns to stone. Send some men to locate his friend and bring him back to me. It shall be done. Very well. The commander folds up the document he was working on and leans forward over his desk. We are giving hefty fines to drifters and vagrants. But it's always the anyone that sees you. You could not afford to pay such a fine. You could have him clean up the streets. in some hallways. We are knee deep in putrid matter. The command snarls, then reconsiders. That's not a bad idea. Though we have few peasants who can be exhorted to do so. Which reminds me. The commander picks up his pen, unfolds the document and starts drafting again. Citizens shall be responsible to remove all putrid matter and infected parts from which might arise. A corruption or an infection of the air. You shake your head as you witness the guard beaming with satisfaction. As for you, boy, and your carelessness, I should send you to our dungeons, but I think I have a better idea. The commander grins as he looks over to his guards. Perhaps you could do a favor for this great city. The commander leans forward ready to share with you a great secret. Many people are dying with our walls. Fathers, mothers, children. You see, disease do not discriminate. At night you gather all the dead bodies, from the rich and the poor, and carry them to a large pit outside the walls of the city. The commander rubs his chin for a few moments before a guard raises his voice. I bet some of them had coins in their pockets, maybe even some expensive rings on their fingers or a golden necklace around their neck. The commander smirks. Maybe even a golden necklace. You see, I don't want to risk the soul of my men and have them steal from the dead. It just doesn't feel right. But if a boy from out of town, a vagrant. If a vagrant will do this well, perhaps he could buy his freedom back. The commander leans back into his chair. What do you say? Except to loot the dead. You choose wisely. The guards grab you by the shoulders and take you outside the city. Grave diggers and grave robbers. As night creeps in, a gentle mist appears outside the walls. Faint flickering torch can be seen in the darkness circling a large mud pit that is at least 20 feet deep and 2 times as wide. Using large wooden shovels, gravediggers cover their old cadavers with fresh layer of lime. The guards take you to the mouth of the pit where the stench is quite strong. You try not to puke as one of the guards grins back at you. Nobody told you it will smell like roses. There must be hundreds of corpses down here, which means hundreds of pockets to plunder. The guard sails over one of the grave diggers. Take a rope and tie him up at the waistline. Immediately the grave digger fetches a large rope and ties it around your waist. Now you go down there and do your work, and don't get any fancy ideas or you'll cut your neck in half. With that, the guard pushes you over the cliff and you are hoisted down to the bottom of the pit. Over your head, the ring of torch illuminates the walls and the ground as soon you find yourself standing in the field of corpse. The putrid smell of decay is unbearable. Begin looting the corpse. Careful where you walk. You wouldn't want to fall face first in those remains. You choose your footing carefully and begin to search around you. Search grabs for fancy boots, quality coats. You inspect the bodies of a few well-dressed guys but find nothing. You decide to go deeper in the pit. Crossing over a mass of entangled remains, you notice a hand sticking out. The fingers are covered with jewelry. Carefully, you lift the man's hand and start taking off the jewelry. 2 rings come off easily, but 2 others won't budge. Search somewhere else. You move away from the decay and start looking elsewhere when you feel a strong tug on the rope around your waist. You almost lose your balance. Come on, boy, we don't have all night. You look back angrily at the guards and gravediggers when they burst out laughing. You pull the rope, giving yourself some slack, and walk over to a woman wearing a large petticoat. As many of the corpse is really bad shape. No teeth, glossy dead eyes, skin as pale as chalk. Search somewhere else. Wary of this corpse, search yourself. As you move away, you feel another tug of the rope around your waist. This one is so low to pull you backward several steps. You lose your foot and fall to the ground, trying to grab the slip and fall head first on top of rotting corpse. This boy is loose, cut him loose. You try to play it, but the guards ignore you completely. Soon the other corpses are added to the pit and show of lime drifts down as snow. No, Belweir, you search for a way to climb out of the wall in vain. Exhausted, close to the ground. Soon you feel a figure go inside you, so we die. You die from Black Death and you get an achievement. Okay, backtrack. Okay, you start immediately in here. Okay, let's go, no hotel. It's a shame that you can skip a minute like this because we already read this. Okay. Okay, begin looting. Okay, in that part we cancel this. Doing the same thing. Search somewhere else because pulling hard you'll fall. Okay. Search somewhere else. Damn it again, I forgot that was in there. Damn it, the same thing, it was in there, fuck. Need to pay attention more in there. Okay, let's go. Damn it. Okay, take the rope. Okay, begin with the corpse. Careful where you walk, don't fall. Sticking out jewelry, careful you lift man. 2 rings in here, then it's search somewhere else. Like we almost lost the balance. So look on the petticoat. You lift out petticoat carefully. Only if you found a small string purse filled with coins. Putting the purse around your neck, move safe distance from the corpse. Alright, let's get me over there. Gravis pull out the rope and hoist you out of the pit. As soon as you reach safer grounds, the guard extends his hand with an arrogant smile on his face. In his other hand, you notice a dagger. Give him all loot. You hand over the purse and rings to the guard. He rings and grabs the loot from your hands. He gives you a space look, tucks away his dagger and lets you get out of the pit. Okay, it was best choice. As guards escort you back towards the barracks, you came across a man lying in the street. Recognized the deceased, the guard punched his body in the shoulder with the lights. Hey, I know that man. That's one of the merchants that sells all those fancy fabrics. Without a blink to emotion, you go to examine the man's pocket. With a sharp spears at their sides, you have no choice but to follow the command. You walk close to the dead man, and as you bend over to pick the pockets of his coat, you notice the guards are far behind you. If you want to flee, this could be your chance. Flee! Fleeing the road, you dive into a narrow pass, the hallway stinks of fecal matter, and you quickly assess the situation. Hide. You spot a few wooden crates and hide behind them. Soon you hear the running footsteps of the guards coming close. You also hear them slide on the murky pavement and fall. After a few Curse of Worf, they leave the area. Nice. Following the narrow hallways and keeping to the shadows, you find your way to the gates that lead out of the city. As guards are blocking the exit, you realize it's impossible to get out of unnoticed. You find a scheduled corner to hide and wait for an opportunity. At dawn, a man pulling a wooden hand cart emerges from a narrow street. He stops in front of a house, picks up a corpse and puts it in the cart. You recognize the man as one of the grave diggers and conclude he must be taking that boy to the pit outside the city. As the grave digger stops at the gate to talk with one of the guards, you realize this could be your chance to jump out of the car and pass the gate. Bribe the man with black beard, hide in the cart with the dead. Bribe, but we don't have nothing. Hide. As Grady stops at the gate, talk with one guard, you realize jump. Crouching and low and moving quietly as you can, you dash over the cart and lie down next to the cadavers. In a minute, you are overwhelmed by the reek of rotten flesh and other acrid odors. You try not to puke. Fearfully close eyes. You are approached 2 foot 7, thus a guard is coming over to examine dead bodies on the cart. Revolted by the sight and smell, you hear him gasp. Soon the cart starts to move again. Feeling safe, you open your eyes. You are outside of the city gate, a sense of freedom watches over you. Once you are out of sight, you roll off the cart, tumble to the ground, and quickly dive into a ditch. What are you doing with your butt in dirt? You look up and see Lois waiting for you by a large tree. You don't look like you brought back any food, water, or that you found any shelter. I look for you all night, you know. Happy Lawrence lends you a hand and pulls you to your feet. Thought you might be rotting in that cruel Florence dungeon. As you dust off your clothes, you remember that loaf of black bear hidden in your satchel. Share. You take out black bear from the stash and show it to Lorenzo. Will you look at that? You did some fight, some food. Lawrence grabs the bread out of your hand and cuts the load in half, then hands over in a piece. I knew you weren't useless after all. Lawrence looked at the gates of the seat where guards are standing. Well, better not stay here too long. Let's head for the coastline. Okay, so we eat the bread. It was good. It wasn't bad. Treacherous roads. You enter a nearby forest and soon you are surrounded by tall pine trees. A dirt road leads west and Lorenzo takes the lead. Suddenly you hear a horse hoof beating the rough, dirty path behind you. You turn around to find a fist bashing against your forehead. You fall to the ground as three riders in boiled leather armor surround you and Lorenzo. Pulling out a sword, the leader of the group asks for all your possessions. Flee! You yell to Lorenzo to run away and dash into a nearby bush. Okay, we lost a little bit of health, but we are injured too. The horseman quickly reach you and club it repeat with a wooden stick until one blows hit your skull. You pass out. You wake up with splitting headache, dry blood in your eyes. It wasn't the best. Because to negotiate we didn't have nothing. We didn't have nothing to negotiate. Your mouth is gagged by dirt cloth and your wrists are bound by leather shackles to the wheels of a wooden wagon. Lifting your gaze, you see Lorenzo unconscious beside you. Not far away, two of the riders are having a conversation. You overall they will try to sell you off as slaves. After inspecting your strengths, the riders walk away and enter a run-down shelter. You think you are safe for a while, but then you see a wild boar sniffing about. No doubt the beast was lured by the scent of your blood. Inspect the card. A rattlesnake peeks out of the wood planks of the wagon and after a few attempts you rip through your gag. Bite off leather bonds. Look over at the rider's shelter. No, bite off leather bonds. Using your teeth you bite and chew on the straight around your wrists. Looking up you realize one rider is just beside you. He takes out a mace. Damn it. Satisfy yourself. Yeah, but you couldn't do that. Okay, backtrack again. Okay, so in there we can't do that. This same thing, negotiate. Let me see. You open and start and you find your old ragged linen. I start to explain you have nothing. This same thing then, okay. Because even flee is same. But in here you don't lose a lot. Okay, inspect cards. Look over the... Beside the rides eat the conversation, the place is calm as mill pond. Using your teeth you bite straight around your wrists. Sad lead is too hard. The wild boar notes you and goes in sharp stance. Knowing these beasts are bred when they are frightened, you move carefully. You need to think of something quick. Soak your steady blow, kick the beasts. A bowworm. They have that. Soak your stage blood. You rub the leather stage to your forehead until they are dripping with blood. Attracted by the point smell of blood, the wild boar rushes to you, but focuses his sharp teeth on your leather shackles. Yup. It only takes few bites for his paws out to cut through the straps. Once you are free, you throw the leather strap far away. To your luck, the beast follows the bloody stage into the forest. Alone again with Florence, you make sure the riders are still busy and try to break the restraints. As you manage to damage a thick part of the ladder, you notice one of the riders heading towards you. Before you have time to react, he lands a mighty blow to your chest, knocking you down violently to the ground. Seeing Lawrence regaining consciousness and start to pull at his stage, the rider reaches for your knife and walks closer to him. Distract. You yell out to the rider for your obstinacy to divert his attention. Knife in hand, he approaches menacingly. Terrified, you try to crawl away, but the rider is much faster than you. He grins as he places his blade inch for your face. Just as he's about to cut you, Lawrence appears behind him and smashes down a large rock on the man's head. Crack! The sound of his skull splitting in half sends shivers down your spine. I think I killed him. We have to get out of here. Nice. At that moment, two other riders come out of shelter. Without hesitation, you run off to the bush, closely followed by Lorenzo. You choose a path where branches are thick and are sure to slow down the riders. You run until you almost hack, until you can no longer run. The lens collapses next to you, then crawls to a nearby tree stump. I'm exhausted. I think we are safe here for the night. As you lie down on the cold grass, you realize you have lost the ragged line you have been used as a makeshift bed. Still traumatized by the violent scene, you wonder if you will be able to sleep. You think we killed that right, don't you? You answer with a heavy silence. People die from this something. Crashing a rock onto a man's skull is splitting it wide open. That's something else altogether. In your mind you play the scene over and over again. We had to defend ourselves, right? I mean, if we didn't fight back, we will be dead, right? You know, silent as you recall the sound of cracking skull. In this you hear the sound of crashing waves as the salt breeze fills your nostrils. Lawrence hears it too. We are near the coast. Let's just make it through the night. Yeah, but I lost that thing. Finally you fall asleep. Yeah, but now I have this too. A cold and gloomy wind bites you at all night. Wake up, Balthasar. As you open your eyes, Lawrence comes out of the forest. I didn't find anything to eat around here. Let's head to for the closest city, or else we are going to starve to death. As you start strapping your boots, Lawrence places his hand on your forehead. Jeez, are you feeling ill? You are as white as a ghost. You push away his hands and stand up. As the blood rushes to your head, a wave of dizziness passes through your whole body. Clearly you caught some sort of illness. Of course, because I lost that thing. Bleak Harbor. Seagulls circle the harbor as half a dozen anchor boats sway back and forth on the foamy sea. On the docks, a few wooden stalls offer exotic goods, others sell fish, oysters and clams. As peddlers deal their goods with locals, you understand people here are oblivious to the tragedies taking place in Florence. Look at those boats. Don't you just want to set sail into the unknown? You shrug at the question with a faint smile. After scanning the pier, Lawrence walks into the crowd. You follow his every step. He stops near a earring stand and looks straight at you. This time, let's sit together, so I don't end up looking for you half the night. Lawrence hints at drying fish on the stand. If you want to survive in this world, you have to learn to bend the rules. And if that means taking coins from a blind man, then that's what it means. Agree. Of course I lose a little bit. Realize Lawrence has survived for so long by himself, he slowly nods. Still deep inside you feel conflicted, of course. I knew you would agree. Lawrence takes out a piece of sun-dried fish he stole just a few moments ago at the fish stand and gives you half. Finish you with in one gulp. Between two merchants' caravans that are selling various vegetables, Lawrence spots an old tavern. See that building? That's where you need to go. Together you cross the busy plaza and stop at the door of the tavern. Peering over the entrance, you notice a large wooden sign that reads Ostia Becca da Paulo, the old tavern of Pablo. Lawrence gives you a smirk. Did you ever pickpocket the Eichborn? You are about to reply with details of your night in Florence when Lorenzo enters the tavern. Intrigued, you follow behind him. Drunkard Deceit. The dark and smoky tavern reeks of sweat and ale. A warm fireplace illuminates one side of the room, and at every table men are cursing, drinking and debating in all matters. In the low mutter of drunken conversation, the word pestilence seems to rise above all the others. The rowdy drunks toast to their misfortune and bless the ale in their hands. Lawrence scans the room, then pushes his pointy elbow into your side. That tall skinny guy over there by the bar. Nice clothing. A neat haircut. Surely he must have more than a few coins lining his pockets. You spy the well-dressed patron as he pushes away yet another empty glass in front of him. If you can get some of these coins, you could buy a warm meal. Maybe even find boarding for the night. Wouldn't you enjoy comfort of a nice bed if only for one night? You cannot help but smile at the idea. After his fifth drink, the lad pushed out the empty glass far from him, then wobbles his way across the room to the door at the rear of the tavern. Since I've been doing all the heavy lifting, this is one yours. It's your chance to prove yourself. Okay, take the leads. Then you take the lead and walk to the back of the tavern. As you exit through the back door, you find the well-dressed drunk leaving himself in the hallway. You walk towards the man silently and manage to grab hold of his purse. Just as you start to pull the purse away, the man grabs your wrist. How dare you! Stealing from a noble man! I'll have you arrested and click, clack, clank, lock it up. Lawrence quick appears behind you. Let go, my friends. Feeling outnumbered, drunk Noble starts fidgeting. Let's not get rough here. I will play you for it. I'll ask you a riddle, and if you can solve it well, I'll give you my purse. You look behind at Lorenzo. He winks at you with a grin. You nod to the nobleman, accepting his offer. When young, I am sweet in the sun. When I'm in middle age, I'll make you joyful. When I'm old, I'm a value more than ever. What am I? Shit, solve the riddle. Solve the riddle. Boots, a dog, wine. Norman looks at you and frowns. Wine is it? You are much more clever than you appear to be. Yeah, because at night it's the best friend. Because Norman looks at his hand, holding your wrist, and whimpers. Fine. Keep up my money. I don't need it where I'm going anyway. Defeated, the nobleman hands over his purse. After stomping on his foot, the man walks off into the darkness of the courtyard. You walk into Desert Plaza and reach the front door of a inn. This place will do perfectly, but I have an idea. Let me go in, I'll negotiate the price and pick a room on the far side. I'll come and get you after. Just don't stand here in plain sight. You nod in agreement, and as Lawrence enters the inn, you make your way to the nearby docks. Ablaze. An orange glow appears over the harbor as you step out of a back alley. You are stricken by a petrifying sight. The sails of mighty American vessel are caught on fire and the flames are spraying to large masts. On the docks, the three archers stand in perfect alignment in front of a fire pit. Suddenly, a fourth man comes out of the shadows. With this commanding stature and clear uniform, there is no doubt this man Capitano de Porto, the harbor master. Clenching his fist, he considers the American ship as it drifts away from the pier. On my command, the archers dip their arrows into the fire and prepare to aim at the fleeing vessel. Knock. Draw. Loose. In false synchronization, the archers release their flaming arrows. You look up in amazement as three fire arrows traverse the harbor and land on the deck of the boat. Shots emerge out of the darkness as bright orange flames begin to devour the wooden deck. A group of onlookers gather on the docks to witness the tragedy. Accustomed to keeping bystanders informed, the Capitano de Porto turns his attention to them. The vessel is rumored to have sailed from the port city Kappa. With score half the crew was sick. Sailors and merchants were stricken by the gavocioli, the plague of boils. A few of the bystanders gasped at the revelation. We told them they need to leave, but they didn't listen. That is, until we decide whose persuasive measures. You watch in dread as sailors lit on fire crawl off the ship's deck and into the black water of the sea. Let it serve as a warning to all the other plague-stricken sailors and merchants. As the harbor master turns his attention to the archers, you see a shadow drift over the open sea. Focusing your gaze, you make out a home boat with half a dozen men heading for the docks. Clearly they have escaped the burning ship and seek refuge. As they reach in a distant ladder and start to climb up the mainland, you notice some of the sailors are too weak to pull themselves up. Go ahead to the sailors, stay with the bystanders. I'm gonna stay with the bystanders. As 6 sailors manage to reach the docks, you realize many are too weak to climb up the ladder. Others are holding back coughs as they hide behind stocks of barrels, crates, and fish nets. Notice you are near a fishmonger as the harbor master walks over. What are you doing here, creeping in the darkness? The harbor master looks at you suspiciously. You are not from around here. Which company do you belong to? As you turn attention from 6 sailors, the harbor master takes note of your distraction. What are you looking at, boy? You hesitate to answer. Speak up. I have no patience for manners or oglers. Show indifference. You silently shrug, then innocent point at the burning merchant ship. As Daruma sets eyes on the sea, he spots a sailor dragging one of his sick mates towards the stockpile of crates. You are going to tell me from where you are standing you could not see this man? If you let this man infect the population, before Daruma has time to finish his sentence, sailors quick scatter like frightened seagulls. Displeased, the man turns to you and grabs you by the shirt. Fuck! Archer, take this kid to the holding cell. There is no use. Fight against drug harbor master, and soon you are placed in a dump and glom. Damn it! After time, some sick sailors who also have been arrested join you tight room. Sick and weak from disease, most of them die before the sunrise. Yeah, now I have disease. The days pass, your skin, I die too. I die too. Oh man. Okay, let's go through this again. Damn it. Okay. Saying that we need to follow the rules, and we know about that. Let's do the agree. Saying that we need to pickpocket. That's be us. Damn it. In there is like you can help, but if you touch you're gonna get the disease. I thought like so we need to like if you help them is like but what I'm gonna try to do is say that the people are there. Okay, in here we already know. This is why they like they explained, they don't have a safe near where you were because of you could be stuck, and I think that was a good thing to do. It's a wise choice. I'm value more because like they talk about the wine that when they are older they taste better. What people say about always. At least is what I hear like from like with movies they talk about when they talk about wine. Yes, they always say that. Like I don't drink wine, but for what they say is like the more older the wine is, the better it tastes. That's why in there is like okay. Later like you can see that at night it's always better, right? But what they're talking about is the age of wine, that when it's young is not the best. When it's middle aged it's already joyful, people like it. When it's older it's better yet because the taste. Okay, so in here Google and the hands, but I'm gonna do this. What are you doing here? Creeping in the darkness. What are you looking at? So, denounce the sick sailors. You point at sailors who are hiding behind the wooden crates. As you tackle, one of the sailors spots you and curses loudly, alerting his mates. Before the master has time to react, they all scatter fighting the seagulls, sprime, and points over the crates. Or my command. In unison, dark archers dip their arrows into flaming pits. Knock, draw, loose. Each are aiming at different sail, all manage to reach their targets. Near the crates, 3 men burst into flames, collapsing to the ground and fight for their lives against the merciless fire. Terrified by such inhuman behavior, you leave the dogs with an immense feel of guilt. Why guilt? So they want us to help, but it's like, why we'll feel guilty when the only way to save us is saying that? Because if I would like lend a hand, I could get the plague. You walk all the way back to the inn and find Lawrence waiting for you outside. Where were you? Well, it doesn't matter. I got us a room. You fought another word, Lawrence leads you to the back of the inn and enters through an open window. Stay low and follow me. You crouch and follow Lawrence as he passes discreetly from one corner to another. Soon you reach a room with a broken door. This is it. Let's not make too much noise and I guarantee no one will bother us. As you walk into the room, Lawrence claims first thieves on the bed by the window. You smile as your nose catches the smell of beef stew. I got us some food from the kitchen. Soon the meal is served and you both eat in bed like princess. The one food cures your linger nausea. Okay, it will this, but still you have an injury. You haven't felt as happy in many nights. Good night, Baldassar. Farewell, Arbor. The morning sun casts long shadows of piers as fishermen, sailors and old sea dogs prepare to board their ships. As you stand in front of mighty vessels, Lawrence turns to you. This is where we part away, my friends. Lawrence points out to a large boat. You see that large merchant ship? I go aboard it and sail out of here. Before you have time to say anything, Lawrence takes out his dagger. I want you to have my knife. You don't know what's out there, and without me to keep watch, you'll need it. Without another word, Lawrence places the knife in your hands and walks away. He joins a group of sailors heading to the ship's deck. He passes behind a few wooden crates, and then, just as he had entered your life, it disappears amongst the faithless crowd. You whisper to yourself, farewell, Lorenzo. Behind you a group of people appear to be gathering. Gasps. You turn around and see an old woman as white as a ghost. At her feet, a man in agony is lying in a puddle of strange black substance. Upper close examination, you realize it's a well-dressed nobleman you met last night. As he opens his mouth, black saliva drips down to his chin. The crowd waits in horror as the man tries to get up, but collapses to the ground. Please! Someone help me! His glazed eyes spot you in the crowd, and the nobleman stretches out his hand towards you. You! Boy! I know you! No man points straight at you. Help me, please! I just need... Take me to see the doctor. No, stay away from the nobleman. As you keep your distance, you witness a man walking close to the nobleman. As he tries to help, the old woman picks up a stone and throws it right to the man's skull. Stay away, pestilence! The others pick up more stones off the ground and join the stoning. Avoiding most of the stones, no man heads towards you. Take out Lorenzo's dagger. Okay, you need to lose a little bit of morality. Terrorized with fear, you take out Lorenzo's knife and point at the affected man, but as you do so, a stone lands on his skull. So you needed to wait. The old man collapses to the ground and in a furious fit contorts himself as if possessed by some demon. The terrifying scene paralyzes the angry crowd. At that moment, one of the armor patterns for the night before recognizes you and points you out. I saw this boy with nobleman last night. He's not from around here. He brought these upper nose. Before the angry crowd has time to grab you, run out of the plaza. You run out of the seat and head to the hood. Thick green branch over protection, but you don't feel safe. You continue to hike deeper into the forest until the night falls. Finding a small clearing near a stream, you decide to camp for the night. You gather a branch, start a small fire, and fetch water to make a soup. Pine soup. You find a pine tree and start to pick off bark near the base of the trunk. Using your knife, you peel back the inner layer from the outer bark and throw it to boiling water. After boiling it to half liquid, half gelatinous mass, you fill up your cup and gulp down the hot goo. When pressed, you wash it down with a cup of water. After a warm meal, you sit silently in front of the fire. You look at the wound you have using a cloth, you wrap it up as best you can, start to healing the process. Nice. As the fire twists and crackles, you think about your own mortality, staring into the fire. Holding one's knife close to your chest, you are glad to be alive. You realize the world you knew no longer exists. The sharp blade in your hand reflects the flickering fire into your eyes. Examine the wooden handle. Taking the knife by its double-edged blade, you examine the wooden handle. Ragged and worn, it seems to hold 1,000 stories. Hold dagger by the handle. Grab the wooden handle tightly, a sudden sense of invulnerability and defiance goes through you. You feel the ragged wood dig into your soft palm, and since each nick and notch of the handle has its own story, you wonder what new tale will soon be added to this dagger, and at what price. Under-nauseous and weak, Aunt Camilla did not survive the harsh winter. Okay, so if we chose to be with her, Aunt Camilla wouldn't die. So because I said that I wouldn't stay there, she died. You feel at peace knowing your parents have proper grave. Nice. Some nights you wonder if you did the right thing helping those strangers with their cards, but it was the only way to continue the game. Lorenzo thought you were weak to let the father and his son take the mule. Okay. After you have left, Aunt Camille went to visit your parents' grave and left flowers. That was nice. After many more deaths in your hometown, the one-handed miller closed his windmill and left towards the south. As Lorenzo boarded the ship, you wonder if he actually killed the rider with the heavy stone or if the man survived. Okay. End of Tales Black Death Italy. Tales of the Black Death France is now unlocked. So as you can see, it's like this. You need to beat each chapter, let's call it chapter or part, to unlock your other, because now it's gonna be in France that you're gonna play, because if you read in the France, as the Black Death raged in Italy, Balthazar flees to France, so saying that you go to France, where a voice from the past warns him the apocalyptic state of the known world, because every part of the world is with the Black Plague. In his journey, he'll become the protector of a young French girl, that is this girl, in search of her missing mother as they try to survive the unforgiving land and cross paths with desperate townsfolk, men at arms, and death. But of course, don't forget about this. Like, Aunt Camilla for me died, because she didn't have nobody to take care of her. But you can change that. Instead of saying that you're gonna leave, you can say that you're gonna stay more days in there. Like that, she doesn't die maybe. But there's certain parts like helping those thieves, right? It's like you need to help them to progress the game. But there's certain choices that you can do to be different. But of course, in the end, this is what will happen. And it's the only way to unlock the other. So you need to beat Italy, then France, and then England, because it's the end of the game. You can read in here the England. You can see will he choose the path with goodness or turn his blade into a yapper of ashes. That is, you like, depending of every choice that you did on Italy and France, England is where it ends the game. That will you be a good person, right? Or you will be like I'm not saying bad person, right? But that person doesn't have nobody because of being afraid of the Black Plague. But it's like, it's good. The game is good. Yes, doesn't have a lot of artwork in terms of game. It's like only those designs. Yes, you can say like, okay, it misses a little bit of artwork, like I always told. Let me only lower a little. The music doesn't save. The music doesn't save when you come back to my menu. Doesn't save. That's why it was too loud. It's like I say, always visual novels, they need to have a good story and good artwork. In terms of here, I can say yes. In terms of artwork, it's not like something good, because it's only like, oh, you are in this place, you are in here, and in here. Doesn't have like an amazing artwork. But in terms of design, like of the house, when you are seeing the rats, right, like the rats, it's well designed in terms of that. But in terms of what I like on visual novels, like the artwork is not impressive. Because what I feel in this game, what they did more effort was in terms of choice. It was more around the choice, around the management of your health and your morale, and the story, right? You can see that the story is very interesting. Like, depending on your choice that you do, it's always good, the story. Like, you are like, oh my god, the story is very good. And then you are like, okay, how it's gonna happen on France, on England, and you're gonna want to see that. So what I can say is they gave the effort to the story, the management, and the choice. There is a lot of choice. In terms of artwork, they didn't give a lot. Yes, sometimes it appears the rats, right? It's cool to see the rats and the artwork in there, but it's not like impressive. But I have to say, the rest of the game, like in terms of management, is hard. Like they say, it's hard, and the story is very good. Because if you play that game from Focus Home Interactive, I don't know how it was called, a Plague Tale, I think it's like that. You understand what they are talking about here. That's the Black Plague. But then here, it explains more. Like it shows everything happening, how people behave. And at the same time, it's like how you want to behave around that, if you want to help those people that are sick or not. So there is a lot of choice, and it depends of the play. So it's a good game. I will say it's a good game. What I feel is a shame is that it came out first on mobile and now they are bringing for PC. I think if they made the game for PC, they could make an amazing artwork around the game. But every developer has their choice, because I know that making games for mobile is less expensive, so I understand at the same time. And now bringing it to PC, it's always good to try to gain some money, and at the same time to get some feedback from the players to see if they enjoy it or not. And like that they can continue making games. Like if they see people enjoy the game, they can then in the future make another visual novel around history, right? Because it's history, this is around history that happened. So it's a thing, like they can do more games around that, around the more history there is. But it's a good game. I will say it's a good game. The story is very well told, the choices, so they are very good. The management, that's not easy. And one thing that I like is that you cannot save the game, right? But it's like, okay, you died, but at the same time they have like certain checkpoints that you can try it to see what you did wrong, but you can get stuck on death loop. If you are stuck, you need to do to start chapter. It's a good thing that they did, like you are in death loop, you need to start chapter. But if you are not in a death loop, it's only about certain choice that you need to change. There is that to start on a certain point, because like they even explained, if you were able to save, right? Okay, let me save. You could be stuck on a save, and you couldn't then try to change certain things. So I think that was a good choice by them. Like you cannot save, the game auto saves on a certain point, because sometimes it's about one choice that you did wrong that you need to change. So I'll thumbs up to that too, because not a lot of developers do that, and you can then get stuck and you need to do everything from the start, and you don't want that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy some gameplay of Tales of the Black Death. Again, if you want to buy it and if you enjoy this type of games all around history and you want to give it a try, you can go on Steam, you can buy it in there. It's not very expensive, very cheap, and you have 3 parts. You have to start from Italy. Beating Italy, you go to France. Beating France, you go to England. That is the last one. And at the same time, I'll recommend always to go to tutorial first to learn how it works, because they explain very well. The only thing that miss sometimes when you run, you lose a little bit of health, and they should explain that at the same time. But oh well. But at least the tutorial is well explained about the injuries, the malay or like that, and about the infection. They explain very well how that works. So hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay of Tales of the Black Death. Again, if you want to give it a try, and if you are one of those players that like this type of games about history and visual novels, you can go on Steam and buy it there, and then give it a review to the developers to give your opinion. So hope you guys enjoy it, and see you guys next time.